Hey guys, this is Hafiz, and today I am going to show you a problem with the air leak or air pressure not building up. So as you can see, my air pressure is at 60-65 around at this time. So if you look at my RPM is at the 600 or at the 6. So at this RPM, my air pressure is gonna be at the 60 or 65, and if I let it idle for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's not gonna go above that. But if I drop it down, I suppose, then it's gonna build back up slowly, but it's gonna build back up to the 60s. So it came back to 60, and now it's gonna come back to the same point, like 65 approximately, and then it's not gonna go above that. So this problem, when I hit the RPM, all right, so if I hit the RPM to, let's suppose I do the cruise control to 900 or 1000 approximate, then my air pressure will start going up slowly, but it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna go up to like 80, around like 80, I would say. So, but it's still building up very slow, but it's gonna go up to 80 as I hit the RPM, or I set on the cruise control. So I tested it everywhere. There's no leak in the system. I don't see any issues with the airbags or the brake chambers. So I tested them. So now I just noticed this. So the problem is, if I'm above 60, I can drive, no issues. You know, it's not gonna pull the brakes. But the problem is when let's suppose the air pressure is at 80 right now. So if I drop the RPM, so let's suppose I'm driving, it's not going to give any issues. My air brake's good, my air brake's released, I can stop for a couple breaks, you know, I would have air for that. But if I just you know, slow down and you know, I have traffic, or you know, the traffic is slow, or my truck is not moving anymore, so my RPM is gonna drop. And because my RPM is gonna drop, so these brakes they will pull out, because the air pressure is gonna go down also. So I'm just gonna show you the example. So as you can see, my air pressure is at 80 at this moment. It's not gonna go above that at the RPM 1000. So I am going to cancel my cruise control, so my RPM is going down to 6. And now in this situation, I'm going to show you my even I'm not in the brake, and I'm parked. So as you can see, I'm parked, and I'm not even on the brakes. So my air pressure is still going to drop. So when my RPM is dropped, my air pressure also dropped with it. Even I'm parked, I'm not doing anything, I'm not even on the brake, so it's still gonna drop to 65 again. So that means at the idling mode, I'm gonna be around like 65, but if I hit the brake, my brake's gonna pop out, and I have to build the pressure again. So I'm just gonna show you that as you can see, the air pressure dropping slowly, but it's gonna go at the 65, and at the idling, engine idling is gonna be at the 65. If I hit the brake, it's gonna pop up the brake. So so just to keep moving, I have to hit the RPM. So I'm just gonna show you at the 10, I was able to go up to 80. So now I'm going to go above 10, which is I'm gonna set it to 12. my air pressure. So as you can see, it's gonna go a little bit faster now. So it just took a couple seconds to build up the pressure to that. So the more RPM I'm gonna hit, is gonna build more and more air pressure in there. So that's good, but the problem is, even if I take it to 100 air pressure, I have to give RPM above like 12, 13, so I can push it to above 100. But as soon as I drop the RPM, it's gonna go down. So if you have the similar problem like this, as you can see, my RPM is going up. So if you have the similar problem like this, that means I'm gonna tell you what is the issue. So I just connected a gauge. I unhooked the main line from the compressor, and I put in the gauge, and I feel the pressure. So the air is coming out of the air compressor, but it is not enough to keep building up the air into the tanks. So either I have to keep my RPM high, or I have to keep driving, and then my air pressure is going to go above 100. But it's not going even at the 1600 RPM. As you can see, I'm almost at the 100. So even at the and my RPM is only 1200 right now. So I'm just doing experiment. So my air pressure is going up to 100 right now. So my air brakes and my truck and trailer brakes are in a parking. So my air pressure is at 100. So what I'm trying to show you that if you have the similar problem, as soon as you step off the pedal and stop giving it the RPM, it should be dropping the air pressure without you doing anything. So if you have the similar problem like this, that means your air compressor is bad. So you can test it the same way. But if your air pressure is not building at all, that could be something different. Like you gotta check the air leak, or you have to check the compressor, you know. So if there's a water in the tanks and all that. So as you can see, my air pressure is building up to 110. So let me try. I'm just gonna keep the RPM at the same point and try to build the air pressure to 120. If it let me do that, when I'm driving, it let me build up to 120, but I don't hear the sneezing voice from the dryer. So I'm just guessing it could be the problem with the dryer also, but I have to fix my compressor first so I can have enough pressure for the truck, so I can test my dryer too. But as you can see, I am at the 105 or 10, around that, and it's almost like not building any more pressure in there. So when it's related to the air pressure, the first thing you have to do is track the main line for the compressor, and then open that and check if there is enough pressure coming through that lane. And you can also buy a gauge that you can put in front of that air compressor line, and then it can show you the idling pressure. So you let it idle, and then if you see the air gauge shows that the pressure is 120, that means your air compressor is good. But if it shows below that, like in my case it was showing at 60, so that means my air compressor is bad. So if you test your air compressor is good, then the problem could be in the air dryer, or the air tank could be filled up with the water. So you have to drain the water out of the tanks, and then you have to look at your air dryer. If the air pressure reach at 120, the air dryer should be throwing water out and make that sneezy noise, so you can tell that the air dryer is working properly. So I'm just gonna show you that how it's gonna work out in my case when I'm gonna start driving. So I'm gonna hit the RPM to 1500 approximately, and then I'm gonna test the air pressure. So I just built up my pressure and I'm on the road right now, and as you can see, my air pressure is at 120. I'm not losing any pressure, there's no air leak or anything, and even I hit the brakes, I still have no issues, except it take a little bit longer just to build up the air pressure. So if you have the similar problem, that means your air compressor is bad. To replace the air compressor, it may cost you from $750 to $800 for the compressor, and also $600-700 for the labor, because it's going to take you like 4 to 5 hours at least to replace the air compressor. So I hope you like the video. Please subscribe the channel. Thanks so much.